So for right now, I think the main problem we're going to be seeing is going to, again, be the potential for mostly just a few scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm overnight, but really beyond that, we're just not really seeing much of anything out there in the way of major amounts of problems. We do see, again, a chance of rain out there. We'll take a look at the school day forecast coming up here in just a little bit. And again, we've got more potential for problems maybe as we head toward next week around around Earth Day, which is next Tuesday, by the way. So if you're going to be looking for any outdoor activities going on there, should not be too much of a problem to take a look at. Looks like we are. Let me just make one more stop here to make certain that we are going on audio, because I hate going all the way through the origin and opening story and everything else, only to find out that the microphone that I've been using is not working at this point. So for right now, again, decently quiet, but we could be looking at, again, the potential for some more problems a little bit later on. So, okay, so yes, we have audio, so we are good to go for tonight. So we'll go ahead and throw this into gear and getting it going by saying good evening and welcome to Weather Overtime. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick. Again, great to have you along. If you are interested, drop us a line. We've got the chat function opened. Again, we are live on Twitch and YouTube if you'd like to follow along there. And thanks to everybody who followed along during our most recent bouts of severe weather over the last several days. We had just quite a few. We're well ahead when it comes to severe weather purposes out there, so it would be nice to kind of take a break when it comes to anything involving severe weather for right now. Downtown Chattanooga, coincidentally, if I didn't mention it, this is where we are broadcasting from. News 12 in the area just south of downtown. The Bailey's Heating and Air Camera, the TVA building there, the public library. Last week was Public Library Week across the country, but no reason to just confine that to 1 week. Make every week Public Library Week. Miller Park, the parking lots downtown, a lot of folks out and about, bicycles and the mopeds and the scooters out and about for this evening, as is the pollen, unfortunately. Beautiful evening out there for right now, catching a little bit of a breeze, seeing the flagpoles on the plaza down by the TVA building, and showing again some very nice conditions for outside. Let's take a look, scoot over to around the area of 153 and 64. All of these cameras, by the way, available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network. The view from the area into and around 153 and the 64 overpass looking off to the south and west. A little dusty out there. There's definitely a lot more pollen, but we are not seeing anything in the way of huge amounts of issues when it comes to very poor air quality, so definitely some good news on that. Let's hop back over to downtown. That was the Plainview Outdoor Advertising Camera. Downtown buildings looking back toward the Hyatts with the color-changing column right there. I-24 traffic moving along pretty well on the Patriot Concrete camera. 2475 out to around just north of the Georgia-Tennessee state line. And usually from 75 north to 24 west, we've got a lot of traffic backed up because of the construction area well back over here. So we're not seeing that at this point. And you can see the lights of Signal Mountain off in the distance, but it's not as clear as it could be because of the fact that, again, we've got pollen and dust and all sorts of other things out there. Let's take a look at the Chattanooga Theater Center from the North Shore. Looking across the Tennessee River, Raccoon Mountain out there. The lights of the footbridge turned off because the construction and the updates to the footbridge are going on, and unfortunately this won't be reopened again until, I believe, December of 2026, give or take. So it'd be nice to see those lights up and going again, but won't be happening as this bridge needs some major infrastructure repair. So otherwise, still a lot of folks downtown at Coolidge Park. So looking around at some quiet conditions for right now. And last but not least, or at least semi-last but not least, the view from the Chattanooga Zoo Hug a Bunny camera. That event coming up, I believe, this next weekend, if I'm not mistaken. I-24 traffic on the Missionary Ridge area moving along, and traffic around Holtzclaw Avenue down at the bottom of your screen also doing a pretty good job moving along for this evening. Temperatures are nice and it's dry, it's quiet, it's very pleasant on the temperatures, back in the mid to high 70s, with some humidity levels that are way on down into the bone dry territory. 30% at this time of night. That's very comfortable dry air, so nice to be able to see that going on out across much of the region. We have not much going on in the way of rainfall, at least just yet. We are watching for the potential of more rain showers coming our direction as a front drops into the area. And we may see some more of that activity coming up a little bit later on. But for right now, the best potential of thunderstorms is way back up northwest of Nashville, getting some fairly good amounts of positive and negative lightning strikes out there. Clarksville, east of Dyersburg, and dropping on over. It looks like everything here is, the entire line is moving to the east. So everything developing here will be missing us, unless Bledsoe, Ray, and Meigs County picks up anything from anything developing down as that front crosses on through here. The front itself is basically moisture starved. There's hardly anything going on with this particular system. So while this system comes on through, we may see again a switch. Notice the wind lines here out of the west-southwest and back to the north, up around the Missouri River Valley. That's where the winds are turning around to the northwest, and the clash point right there around the area close to Nashville, behind that area of the front. That is where we're picking up the showers and, of course, the thunderstorms. Bowling Green, Clarksville, right around Jackson, Reelfoot Lake, Dyersburg picking up some of that, but really not much of anything else going on at this time. So we are seeing some quiet conditions. The chances of severe weather at this point are basically not happening. There's no expectation of anything going on in the way of severe weather. But as this front comes across the area, makes its way down to the south and to the east, this is going to continue to make its way through, so that by tomorrow morning, right around bus stop time, there might be some lingering showers. Emphasis on the word some. There may be the potential of, again, a thunderstorm mixed in with this if the difference between the air on one side and on the other is, again, not really seeing too much of that sharp difference that can cause a severe thunderstorm to develop. Just not seeing that at this point. Going into tomorrow afternoon, the drier air works in behind that storm system, clears out, will be cooler tomorrow with temperatures back in the lower to mid 60s. High pressure moves over the area. Chilly, that's the way it's going to work for the next several days. Chilly in the morning, mild, partly to mostly sunny in the afternoon. Repeat that process and you got a pretty good idea what's going on. Wednesday afternoon, a little bit warmer, 60s and 70s there. Thursday morning, chilly but not exactly frosty. I think you can leave the plants outdoors for a little while. No indication of any frosty weather continuing. And then Thursday afternoon looks good. Temperatures back in the lower to mid 70s and even warmer after that, so that by lunchtime on Friday, we'll easily be back into the lower 70s. Low temperatures Friday morning, high 40s to lower 50s before we head into and around the area Friday afternoon. So we've got some very mild days ahead of us. Chances of rain are not looking all that great. Tonight's low temperatures, again, not frosty, but it will be colder in the higher elevations. So Cumberland Plateau, Appalachians, that's where we're going to see the worst of the very chilly weather. But beyond that, really not looking too bad for right now. It's very quiet out there, so we're not seeing too much in the way of major problems with the weather again for the time being. So quiet. Lake Chickamauga stirred up a little bit. You can just barely see in the starlight there. And again, getting into the possibility of some showers, maybe a thunderstorm coming up into tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, or this morning if you are watching us very early on Tuesday morning. that again is going to be the worst of the worst activity showing up for there. So good news again for right now. We're not seeing too much of any concern for right now. Next couple of days, and let me back out of here so we can see the entire display here. Here's what we're looking at. Again, for tomorrow, we'll talk about tax day in just a little bit. 60s, well below where we were this afternoon. And that, again, is going to be the lowest point that we see here, from the mid to upper 60s for highs, lower 40s, again, chilly, but not quite frosty. So if you have any plants outside, no frost expected for now, but that could change. 60s, 70s, and then 80s as we go into the end of the week and toward next week. That, again, is where we could see the possibility, some of the warmest numbers we've seen for a while. And then by next Monday, preceding Earth Day, coming up next Tuesday, not tomorrow, but the Tuesday following, that is where we see the potential of more showers and thunderstorms. In between here and there, very much on the dry side, no sign of any severe weather. And considering how much above normal we are on severe weather, especially for the southeastern United States, very nice to be able to tell everybody that for the foreseeable future, we don't really have a lot going on. So anytime in the way of severe weather, I think we're finally starting to come out of that active severe weather period between January and April into May. And from here on out, from May through roughly about late September, early October, those are basically kind of the summer doldrums where not much of anything else happens except the very warm and muggy conditions that we've all grown to know and love around here. So I think for right now, nothing going on here. This could develop into something maybe, but that's a ways off. So we'll watch and see what goes on with that over the next several days. So keep it tuned to News 12 for more information on that. Let's get to some extracurricular stuff. That right there, 12 minutes in, and we've done pretty much all the forecasting stuff for tonight. So talking about our weather window of the day, a beautiful view from Bridgeport, Alabama. Thank you very much, News 12 viewer Celeste Dobbins, for a view exactly at 7:56 a.m. as the sunrise light lights up the eastern hills and Old Glory gets a bit of a breeze out there. If you got pictures out there that you would like to submit to us for the picture of the day, we'd love to see them, but we can't show them until you send them to us. So here's what you do. Email them to us. You can drop them to our social media pages, or you can, again, go to Weather Window Headquarters at WDEF.com/photos, where yours could be the next Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. If you can be anonymous if you want to, and that's great. But if you also could please give us a description, number one, and or a location, that would really help out to make certain that we can tell everybody what it was that you were looking at. So that would really help us out to help everybody else know what's going on. So again, thanks to everybody who's been sending in those pictures. Great opportunity to see more out there from you, but we have to be able to see them. So if you would please go ahead and send those in to us, that would be much appreciated there. 85 the high, came within 2 of a record high temperature today. No precipitation. We're ahead for the month by about half an inch and behind for the year by about an inch or so. So we could use a little bit more to kind of catch up and put us where we need to for the year itself. Exactly where we should have been on the low temperature this morning, back in the mid to upper 40s. So a beautiful day out there, no question about that. Allergies, we did have, again, a decent amount. This information a few hours old, but the tree pollen was down, believe it or not, just a little bit. My nose would say otherwise on there. Mold is up a little bit to the moderate levels, and air quality index earlier on today was in the yellow or moderate category. That information from airnow.gov, the allergy information courtesy of the Chattanooga Allergy Clinic. So thanks to everybody for sending those in. For tomorrow, again, there will be chances of showers, maybe a thunderstorm in the morning, but temperatures will be downwards. And once the sun comes out, that's why we have a higher UV index indicator. So be prepared for that. Might be the need for some sunblock, some longer sleeve shirts out there to make sure that you don't catch anything in the way of a sunburn, which can easily happen even when the sun is hidden by just a thin layer of clouds. That's always something to kind of keep an eye on. to see what happens. Heading out with the pupper in the morning, that is where we could see a few stray showers up until about sunrise or so, and that is again going to be the bulk of the rainfall for the next several days in the next couple of hours. Thanks to News 12 viewer David Bailey from Signal Mountain, we can see Caspian looking very regal, looking out over the landscape, but not seeing any sign of the dawn treader anyplace out there. That's our dog walking forecast pupper picture of the day. If you'd like to get your pupper pictures on here, we'd love to feature them. We're running a little bit low, so if you've got dog pictures, send them in to us. We'd love to see them. If your business would like to advertise on this or some of our other weather pages that don't currently have a sponsor, businesses and organizations, please get in contact with our sales staff here at wdef.com/advertise. They would love to hear from you to see if we can knock out a deal of some sort. But again, in the morning, you and the pupper might need a little bit of rain protection out there. It doesn't look like much for now, but just something to consider out there for the time being. All right, weather trivia time. This was something that we try to do. We try to lighten the mood a little bit to give you an idea as to what's going on out there. We've done all of the typical weather questions that we could possibly do in regards to what does this weather instrument do? What does this cloud look like? So we're doing our best to try to find as much weather trivia as we can in various locations, and music is always one of my favorites. I can't play music worth a darn. All that talent went to everybody else in my family except me, so I love listening to music. Can't write it, can't read it, can't play it, but I can listen to it. And from 1967, July, the association knew that everybody knows that it's wintry, sunny, or windy, and that was the winner at 89% for our Roof Quotes weather question of the day, weather poll of the day. There are other polls available at our website, and you can get there by typing it in at wdef.com/vote now, or you can go to the QR code, just snap that with your phone, and you'll be able to find out a lot more. Again, at our website, we'll have another poll going up at midnight, and you'll have more details again on other polls, sports, news, let's chat. It's all up there again at wdef.com. Thanks to roofquotes.com for being our sponsor, and thanks to everybody who voted in our poll for today. Glad to have you along for that. All right, tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is the day to make certain you carry the two and make certain you double check all of your calculations before you send everything in. Deadline is approaching. It's about 1 day and 2 hours away. So for the breakfast with the accountant tomorrow, temperatures will be in the mid-50s, but a shower or two will be peeling off and heading on out of the picture there. Lunch with your lawyer, back in the mid to upper 60s, but at least we'll have some sunshine out there breaking through, and then clear skies for tomorrow night. If you're doing it, excuse me, the old-fashioned way and dropping off your return by the post office, again, you have to get it there by midnight or else, and again, back in the mid to upper 50s for the temperatures, but should be mainly clear skies out there, so at least you don't have much to worry about where the weather is concerned on tax day, so that's something to at least not have to worry about. So definitely some good news on that, but the chances of rain leaving the area are pretty much over with from there. National Weather Service in Nashville has a great webinar program. It's called Weather 101, and it's not for meteorologists. It's not just for meteorologists. It's not for emergency managers. It's for anybody who likes weather. And the National Weather Service, this is just one more good example about what NOAA does to keep the community safe and informed. And contrary to what a certain project out there would tell you, they are not the enemy. They are not a waste of tax dollars, and there is absolutely not any private forecasting firm that can do what NOAA does, shutting down a branch of the government that helps to protect people just because you don't like them talking about climate change. That's very short-sighted and a good way to cut off your nose to spite your face, but reading the project for myself, it does seem that that's what they excel at. So unfortunately, NOAA is still under attack. And this is just, again, one good example of what NOAA does to help you, the citizen, everybody out there who wants to know more about weather, how they can help you learn more and be better prepared when it comes to weather. So anybody who works with or helped to draft that certain project that is gutting certain government agencies, that is a terrible idea. Never should have happened. Backwards way of doing things, to say the least. And this is something that really needs to be reconsidered here. So taking a look at everything NOAA does, tonight's topic, which is past now, was flooding. That, again, was the opportunity to learn more about what flooding is all about, how it happens, how certain events happen. And again, tomorrow's topic coming up will be at 10 o'clock in the morning, and it's a little bit more seismic oriented, but it is still a disaster that you need to pay attention to, especially if you're visiting any coastline around the world. Any coastline, if a tsunami, if big enough happens and in the right location, almost any coastline around the world can be subject to a tsunami. So if you'd like to know more about what a tsunami is all about, Tuesday morning, that's tomorrow again, or this morning if you're watching it in the morning hours, 10 o'clock Central Time. Learn more about tsunami from the National Weather Service in Nashville. Go to their website, weather.gov/OHX. And if you'd like to know more, again, it's posted on our website down below the forecast, WDEF.com/weather. If you'd like to find out more about what's coming up. Again, tonight's topic, past tense, was about flooding. Tomorrow's topic at 10 o'clock in the morning will be all about tsunamis. And then on the evening shift, that will be about weather observations in 3 dimensions. That is something that is very important because how we observe the atmosphere is very much on the important side because that helps us do forecasts more accurately. Ironically, and sadly, a certain project is causing damage to NOAA so that not as many balloons with radiosondes are being launched, and that is diminishing the amount of data that we could put into these weather forecasts, and that means the less data we have, the less information we have to draw on, and that, by extension, a certain project is making our weather forecast and, by extension, the population of the United States less safe through their short-sighted, myopic, backwards actions. So this is a very ugly situation. It never should have happened in the first place. Anybody who is in agreement with this project when it comes to shutting down NOAA because they talk about climate change too much, well, NOAA does talk about climate change. It's what they do. It's part of what they are able to help us understand by observing what goes on. And when you take away that data so much that you can't see what is actually happening, you are really shooting yourself in the foot to really diminish your ability to look at what is going on down the line. So I can't help but think this project was one of the worst ideas that anybody on any political spectrum has ever come up with. And this is just one more good example about how a certain project is doing a very good job of hurting safety in the United States by their actions of cutting what is much needed funds to an agency that helps to keep the population of the United States and by extension around the world safer. So if you're in agreement with this certain project, you really need to take a look at what NOAA does and how they work, and the fact that what they do is not and never has been waste. And again, something to really consider being a citizen and a taxpayer. I know I'm going to get emails that say, oh, stay in your lane. This is my lane. Talking about what goes on with science and communication and keeping you, the public, safe. This is one very good example of what NOAA does to help out. And for us to cut off the balloon launches and the data and the personnel who help out with stuff like that, that is hurting us. It is not helping us. That is, again, the certain project should never have come to light, and the people supporting it really need to reconsider what they're doing and why and how they're hurting the people of the United States instead of helping. off my soapbox for now, but that is, again, one of the most atrocious ways I think I've ever heard of anybody behaving in government circles or beyond that. And with, again, a lot of fury and ire built up, there's a lot of people out there who hate what is going on, but we don't seem to have much in the way of being able to talk about things. This is how I do it. This is how I am able to bring you information about what NOAA does and about how important it is and why you, the voter and the taxpayer, need to be paying attention to this. I do. If you're not, why not? This is something that is very important, and you really do need to take a look at this to make certain that, again, the tax dollars that you are sending in are used for the right thing, and this project is doing a very good job of hurting us, not helping us. That's all it is right there in black and white, or in this case, green and semi-off green for right now. If you'd like to know more about what the forecast is going to be for the tropical storm season coming up, the forecast from Colorado State University has just been issued about a week or so ago, and the average compared again to what they are issuing this year, showing again above normal on everything. The number of named storms, the storms that become strong enough to get a name, will be above normal at 17, according to their forecast estimate. Of those named storms, 9 of those 17 will become hurricanes, again above normal, and then major hurricanes, that's category 3 and above, that again will be above normal at 4. Accumulated cyclone energy, the amount of energy that the atmosphere and the ocean have available to it to be able to create these storms, a normal over about a 30-year average stands at about 123. This year will be a much higher than average at 155. But the good news is it's lower than the nearly 200 or so that we saw for 2024. So it will be lower, but it will still be above average, which means there's a lot of energy in the oceans and the lower atmosphere to create these storms in the first place. Again, this is something that NOAA will be issuing their forecast on relatively soon. This is just one of many credited facilities that do these type of forecasts and do it very well, but they need data, and if NOAA and a lot of the other places are cut off from that data, the forecast will not be as accurate and people might get hurt or killed. Again, something a certain project needs to keep in mind, which they are not doing a very good job of. So for right now, this is what it looks like for the time being, and hopefully, again, something that will not be a concern over the next several days. On that note, and just one more thing, well, two more things actually, that might be of note to you. A lot of folks I knew back in Kansas, they had moved there from places that had never or rarely had severe weather. And so a lot of folks that I knew had a problem with severe weather. They didn't know how to deal with it. They were very afraid of it, to the point of almost catatonic panic type situations. That's not good. Being afraid of a storm or having that healthy fear, that's okay. As I tell the school kids out there, that's your brain telling you you need to protect yourself, and that, again, is perfectly normal. Being scared to the point of inaction and just shutting down, that is something that is not okay, because that could affect your health and your welfare, so you really need to prepare for that. And again, this is a genius idea, that if you have a problem with weather anxiety and you want to learn more about what you can do about it, National Weather Service in Morristown, again, great opportunity to learn more from the National Weather Service. The meteorologists and personnel who put this together have decades of experience, and there's tons of topics here for adults and adults who have kids, parents. This is a good way to take a look and see, oh, this might be a good way to help son, daughter, niece, nephew, grandchild, anything like that. I've met kids before that have incredible amounts of fear due to severe weather situations that they've gone through, and parents they reach out and they ask for help through counseling agencies or to us directly as meteorologists. And this is a very neat page to go to find out more. Again, weather.gov/MRX. One more good example about what NOAA does. And then to finish up for tonight, Again, that right there is just one good way of doing things. If you would like to help your community out by becoming a Skywarn spotter, but you have never been able to make the meetings for training in person, this is also a genius page direct from the National Weather Service in Morristown that will tell you a little bit more about how to become a Skywarn volunteer storm spotter. Again, not chaser. This is a spotting program, and yes, there's going to be some stuck-up sticky beaks out there who say, well, yes, it's on the title right there. Well, sometimes people need refreshing on this, that if you want to be a chaser, great. Get trained in it. How do you start? This is how you start to become a chaser. Learn the difference between being a good chaser and a bad chaser by knowing about the weather and knowing what to look for, how to behave in severe weather, as in how to protect yourself, the correct actions about where to shelter, how to read a radar, how to read the atmosphere, all that information from the National Weather Service. And again, weather.gov/MRX, or again, go to our website, wdef.com/weather. Great opportunity again to learn more about what's going on. And thank you to the National Weather Service, NOAA, and especially the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration for more on that. All right, so for tonight, I think that's going to do it. We've been on for just about 30 minutes. Didn't think we had enough to go that long for tonight, but glad we did. So for tonight, thanks to everybody who tuned in on Twitch and YouTube. And we'll have more on the forecast tonight on News 12 at 11. And, of course, Chip Chapman will have more on the forecast coming up bright and early on Tuesday, starting at 5 a.m. So definitely want to stay tuned for more on that. Email address, again, at the bottom of the screen, aonic@wdef.com. And if you'd like to watch this or other podcast that we have on there, wdef.com/weather. We'll post that on there so you can see Weather Overtime. You can contact me through most of these social media pages. I'm on lichess.org and chess.com if anybody wants to hit me up for a game. Kind of lurk around Reddit on r/weather and r/meteorology if you've got any questions there, and on r/Chattanooga. That's got some really unique and interesting questions and some great pictures from around the area too, some great photography on Reddit. So thanks to everybody else on there. Instagram, Tumblr, Mastodon, Counter Social, and Discord. So if you'd like to check out what's going on there, please stop by. Say hello at any point in time. Again, concerns, suggestions, complaints, if you absolutely must. Email address right there, putting it out for everybody to see, aonic@wdef.com. So great to have you on board. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and send it back to regular programming for Monday night and or Tuesday morning, depending on when you're watching this. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onick from the WDEF News 12 studios in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. That's it for Monday night. Stay tuned for more coming up on Tuesday.